Hi there friends, how are we today? Thank you so much for spending a little bit of your day here with me. I have to tell you, the Sephora sale haul, it continued a little bit. I drifted into maybe one more sale haul, and that's what I bring you today. Actually, it's going to be a full face of Sephora Collection products because I got a bunch of those things marked down through the sale. I've had a lot of questions regarding this brand and featuring it more. It's Sephora's house brand, you know. This stuff is less expensive than luxury brands on Sephora's website, and I think there are a lot of questions surrounding the quality. I've really talked up some of the brushes big time, and there have been a few products here and there where I'm like, wow, that's really good, but I wanted to dive in and try more. So you're gonna see that on the face today. But really what drove the second haul was the fact that for some reason I realized as I was running out of my serums in my morning skincare, I thought, let's try the ones from The Ordinary. The Ordinary is a skincare brand on Sephora's site that is super affordable. It's been around even before it got featured on Sephora, but we're talking serums that are, you know, between $6 and $10, as opposed to the Glossier ones I'd been using that were much more than that. And the fact that I was able to replace whatever I was already using, it just seemed like the right thing to do. I also got something from the Inky List, which is another affordable skincare line at Sephora. I got the retinol to use at night as the first step after cleansing. But what I put on, for example, first thing this morning, after going over my skin with my micellar water, I used my niacinamide 10% plus zinc 1%. This helps with pores, blemishes, brightens skin tone. Then I got the hyaluronic acid and B5. This is all about hydration, so that one feels really good going on the skin. Feels really just like the consistency of any other hyaluronic acid serum I've used. And then I got the ascorbic acid one, which is basically vitamin C. I was using a vitamin C serum. This is going to help with brightness, anti-aging, etc. I'm really oversimplifying what these do, but you can look them up. I'll link to them below and you can read up on them. And then I also decided to go for the caffeine solution for under eyes. So this reduces appearance of eye contour, pigmentation, and puffiness. So I thought, while we're at it, why not try that? So those are my new serums. I don't think I paid over $10 or not much over 10 for any of them. And yeah, I just thought I've been using those Glossier ones for so long. I've literally repurchased them, I think 3 times. So they've been kind of a long-term skincare product for me and I've enjoyed them, but it'll be interesting to see if these are any better, any worse, I don't know. But hopefully they're better and I can just enjoy a great deal, and the next time I go to repurchase I can feel like I'm spending a lot less. I think to repurchase all 3 of the Glossier serums I was paying like over $60. So we're gonna get going with the Sephora Collection face, and the first couple of things are things that I already had. It's the Best Skin Ever foundation and concealer, which I really like these things. These are some of my favorite things from the line outside of the brushes. By the way, just to share, the Sephora 56 is probably my favorite brush. I have it in a short-handled and long-handled version, but that for cream contour, cream blush, it can do concealer, it can do foundation for you. That's a great one. The 57 is a nice little concealer brush. I've also played around with the 47, which is a really interesting shape and size, and I like that for patting in concealer and like really spreading it around also. Sephora Collection brushes are just 2 thumbs up. But the Best Skin Ever foundation, I've really enjoyed it. I have 15.5N. I don't have any special primer on. It does have a little pump, and I'm gonna do nearly a full pump of that, and then we'll blend it in. I've got a zit like right on my Cupid's bow. And then I'm going to blend this in with my double-ended e.l.f. brush. And I feel like I get a good medium coverage out of this foundation. And it just has a really like natural skin-like appearance. I wouldn't say it's overly dry and matte looking, but it's not incredibly glowy either. It just feels like a nice middle ground. They call it Best Skin Ever, and it does kind of mimic the appearance of the surface of good skin. Can you see what I'm talking about? As I turn my head, and my skin is well moisturized underneath, because after all those Ordinary serums, I did my Bobbi Brown Vitamin Enriched Face Base, I did my Charlotte Tilbury Eye Cream, I did my sunscreen. So my skin is well nourished, but I feel like this foundation gives just a real natural luminosity. Natural surface of clean skin is what it makes me think of when it's on. They also say it's a long wearing formula, which I would have to say it wears very well on me. I haven't had any concerns in that department. It kind of reminds me of Wet n Wild Photo Focus, maybe if you sort of created a middle one between the matte and the dewy, you know? But maybe even more than the foundation, I love the concealer. It's really good. 11.5p is my shade, and that they call this the Best Skin Ever Full Coverage Multi-Use Concealer. So this does a great job of just giving that power-packed coverage in those places where you need it. I feel like it's a great little partner to the foundation. The way the tones look, you know, I go up a little bit in tone on the concealer, so it ends up being a little more brightening. And I can use that small end of my brush just to move it around. There's a nice thinness with this. I would say it feels thinner and lighter than Shape Tape, with very comparable coverage. As you can see, it's tackling multiple things here. It just went over a zit. It's going over redness on the sides of the nose. It's going over that under eye darkness, which I spread it. If you haven't seen me do this before, I kind of spread it with the smaller end. So then that concealer is taking up more surface area, and I'm not just dabbing over a good sized dot with a big brush and it kind of eats up the product, but I smooth it out. And then I can dab over it with the larger side and feel like I'm getting really even coverage there. I don't know, if I just had to pick one, I feel like the concealer's even more of a star for me. I'm maybe a little harder to please on concealers, and this one is really good. It doesn't over dry. Lightweight, strong coverage. It did a lot on my skin without looking like a lot and not looking heavy. Works well with numerous other foundations, but you know, the Best Skin Ever is good. And together they work well, and I just feel like, you know, you see the cheek. It looks like you're seeing the surface of real actual skin, not just made up skin. So I like those products. That's gonna be a big takeaway here, is that those are a couple of my favorites. The loose powder was out of stock. I tried to get it, the translucent loose powder, so I'm gonna have to throw something else in. I'm gonna use my one size translucent powder here, why not? I've got like 2 sizes of this. I think I got a gift set at one point, and I have a little tiny size, and I take that whenever I travel. Like, it's so cute and little. Like, look. And then this size is still smaller, I think, yet than the full size. Isn't that perfect to like throw in your travel bag? Loose powders always take up so much room. This is the one size ultimate setting powder. I'm just gonna set that under eye. I feel a little dewy, a little tacky. I would say I come away after those serums and my moisturizer feeling a little more deeply hydrated than I did with the Glossier stuff. Skin's just a little more juicy. And I think it's because the vitamin C one that I have from The Ordinary is way more like thick and rich seeming. So anyway, we're just taking this around the T-zone, getting nicely set. Is it world's greatest loose powder? I mean, it's good, it's fine, it's always served me well. I don't feel like it's head and shoulders better than Wet n Wild Photo Focus though, or really Maybelline Fit Me and that kind of thing. A new to me thing from the sale, I got this Micro Smooth Multitasking Baked Face Powder, and I got the shade Sand. They say this versatile face powder provides buildable coverage and a naturally radiant finish that looks like skin. So think MAC Mineralized Skin Finish Natural. Wear alone for breathable coverage or pair with other products to set, contour, or bronze. So I got the color Sand, and it's definitely an all-over face color for me. It's not something I'd really target up on the under eye area, but this feels like really nice and smooth, and it does have some coverage. So when I put this over top of things, it adds a lot. And like, you put your brush in, you can tell there's a softness there. Sometimes baked things can be known for being a bit dry and not so creamy. This has a really nice soft texture, kind of like Laura Geller vibes. A well done baked powder. Not well done as in too baked, but a good quality baked powder. So I'm popping that on, and I don't know if you can tell, but like, it's covering freckles on my cheeks and stuff. It's definitely building up on the coverage. I'm trying not to put on too much, but yeah. I like that. Getting an overall skin tone match I think was a good idea, because with the sort of richness in this powder, with the high pigment and the feeling of a good deal of coverage, I don't know that this is something I'd want right up on my under eye area anyway. It's more of an all over face thing. I like that a lot. And then something I got in the past was one of these little Sephora contours. This is called Colorful Contour in the shade First Touch. It's a really nice, cool contour. And these little compacts are so neat because, you know, you have your product, you have the mirror, and then there's like an additional way that it opens so you can remove the pan if you wanted to put it in another palette or something. I think that's neat. But we're gonna contour with this today. Talk about a cool kind of shadowy contour. That's what this gives. I think this is a fair to light skin tones friend. If you get bronzers and you're always thinking they're too tan looking, they're too orangey, you'll like this. This is nice and cool, but it is still like giving some contour. You can probably see it most around the hairline. I tell you what, friends, if your kids are starting to like drive you a little bit crazy around the house sometimes, well, tell them to go outside. But number two, find a toy that has not been played with recently and dig that back out. Like, we've got things that are kind of like at their fingertips, it seems like, at all times in the living room. The living room is kind of the home base sort of play area for everybody in the evenings. But like, grab out an old dollhouse or something that's been stored back and then bring that out again after months. Oh, you'll capture them. You'll capture them with that. Their attention will be all about it. I feel like I'm building this up a little bit. It's not super dark, but it's definitely doing some things. Like, I can see it working around my hairline. I can see it working in the contours. I like this. I think it serves a really specific purpose for some people who want that super cool contour. I like what it's doing, but I might actually take a separate bronzer over top just for warmth, you know? But anyway, we're trying to stick to Sephora, and I'm moving on to blush. I've got a couple. They look like they're in different packaging, but this was the newer one that I got, the Hey Jealousy one. Super pretty, I think, satin finish, berry blush. And then I also have Over the Moon, which is a really pretty cool pink. I think I'll show that one going on. And I have one of their like two-tone blushes as well. But like, look at this glow that this interesting cool pink blush gives. You see that? That's just fresh. And yeah, I will take it down to the apple. Like, I feel like that's where that should be radiating from. I'm just brightening up that cheek in a spot where I think it needs brightness and life. It's absolutely gorgeous. I love that. And maybe, you know, we just do a touch, just a touch of the berry right out here. Oh, blush is fun. Blush is fun. I don't even have a highlighter, and I'm not feeling like I really even need one right now. Got this. This is the Makeup Setting Spray 16-hour wear, transfer proof, sweat and humidity resistant. I just figured, hey, let's give it a go. Let's see if this can stand up to all-nighter, you know? It's got a really perfect sprayer. Gosh, it's so fine, but targeted enough to feel like it's really getting on there. I actually feel like that helped a little with the powdery look on the skin. I'm feeling really good about the Complexion. Some of the absolute favorites, the Best Skin Ever stuff. I was really pleased to try the baked powder, and I love the blushes. Now we move on, and I got a brow pencil. It's a skinny brow pencil. It's called the Retractable Brow Pencil, waterproof. I got it in medium brown. And in typical brow pencil fashion, it's got the skinny pencil on one end and the spoolie on the other. And this works totally fine. Like, I have no complaints, but it's working exactly like my e.l.f. and exactly like L'Oreal, CoverGirl, all the skinny ones I have. There's no big differentiating factor, okay? So go with whatever's convenient and has your shade and is the price you want to pay. Easy, quick fill-in. I mean, the texture is not too dry, not too creamy. It's just a heck of a lot like Brow Wiz. And of course, I want to know what things you guys like from Sephora Collection. What things would you skip? What things do you love? I kind of think it's crazy that I've been doing YouTube and makeup experimentation for so long, and I haven't really dug deep into this line. It's just been a very haphazard, you know, occasional trying of products, and so much has been good. Remember the Wishing You palette from Holiday this past season? I think that was still available when I was buying stuff in the sale. That was phenomenal. That was one of the best eyeshadow palettes of the holidays, honestly. Like, extremely good quality. Loved the shade selection. There are some brushes that I just wouldn't be without, you know, like the 56. They definitely have some good quality stuff. Maybe you're like in Sephora and you're like, okay, I need a brow pencil. I need it today and it has to be from Sephora. I'm sure this is going to be less expensive than the other brands, so, you know, try this. This is really good. I don't have any Sephora brow gel, so I'm just going to use NYX Control Freak here. I'm going to prime the eyes. I'm sure Sephora Collection has an eyeshadow primer, but some things you're just not in the mood to experiment with. And then I did get a little eyeshadow palette. They have a range called Destinations, and one of them in particular I thought I might love this. Used it yesterday and I'm still a little on the fence. Just a second. So the little Destinations eye palettes here, they come in 6 different options. Gone West, Concrete Jungle, Off the Grid, Turn Up the Heat, Island Hopping, and they were $15, but of course I saved in the sale. I got the one called, what was it, Southern Charm. Where are we here? Is this New Orleans? Got a little like trolley car. I got this because I often feel like these kinds of tones really bring out like a brightness in my eyes. Sometimes it makes the brown in my eyes look a little more greenish, these mauve tones. So you got 3 mattes, actually 4 mattes, counting this one over here, and 3 shimmers, which one is really like one of those interesting shifty kind of blue mauve colors. We've got a green, we've got a deep plum, and then like I said, the mattes are very what you see is what you get there. I have enjoyed the quality of Sephora Collection eyeshadows. I have not been let down. However, using this particular palette yesterday, I felt like everything came off so murky. These shades are kind of murky, but altogether on the eyes, I just felt like I wasn't seeing the brilliance of anything. So I'm gonna, I don't know, try a little harder today, try to do better. I'm gonna go to my crease. I'm gonna first use this shade, which is a really nice cool brown. And I'm just gonna add that to my crease. Gosh, it's super cool. I almost feel like I'm seeing a little bit of lavender come out of this shade. It's just very, very cool, very grayish. And I'm using my Profusion crease brush. It's got a nice little mirror. I've also liked the little Sephora brand pocket palettes. Those are cute. But the Wishing You palette, that one from Holiday, was like one of the best Sephora eyeshadow things ever. Okay, we're really contouring the eye up here. Don't you feel it's giving a true like shadow? Buffing it out, buffing it up. I'm gonna take some of this larger shade over here and just kind of use that on the border. It's not so light that it's a highlight. It gives a little bit of kind of khaki colored depth, but it also smooths a little, smooths the edge a bit. I want to add a little bit of this rosy mauve right here. Add some of that, blend over the crease. I don't know, I definitely used that shade yesterday, but I feel like it got kind of lost in the shuffle. It's a little bit deeper than you think it's gonna be. What do you think? Ooh, I like that. See, it is hazy and murky, but it's pretty and somehow delicate too. Okay, then we've got this nice rich color here, super pigmented, kind of a dark brown, but you swear there's just a little plum in there too. Gonna grab a flat brush with that, and it's gonna go, look how pigmented, just one dab. A little bit here in the outside, and I'm not gonna carry it too far in on my eye. I'm gonna really let this stay on the outside. See what I'm saying? Just outermost corner of that lid. Just like the width of the brush right there. So much pigment. And then here's what really helps your blend. Taking a smaller brush like a Profusion, small pointed, and kind of buffing over where that darkness was applied. Really making it look smooth and part of things. So we're all set up matte wise. There's how it's looking. I want to take now some of this like purpley shimmer, plummy shimmer, and yeah, it's just really dark. Like it's not giving really much purple at all. There's no brilliance in that one. And I think I just used a lot of that in my look the other day, and that's maybe why like I wasn't quite so blown away. It's all gonna rest on the shoulders of this shade here, which is very interesting. Like I said, it's shifty. It can look a little mauve, it can look a little like bluish almost. And I'm going to start applying that over all the remaining lid space. It'll end up going over about half the lid because we're gonna do a little overlap. That's interesting and fun, but still at a glance, it's a very like basic kind of cool plummy eye. And you're saying maybe what about the green? Yeah, the green ends up coming off real dark as well. I did some of that in my look the other day. The colors just happen to be so rich. They have trouble looking really colorful. And that's just how it goes sometimes. The look is still pretty, and you can really, yeah. That shade is a nice texture, don't get me wrong, but you can give it more of an effect if you pat. I do have some fallout to dust away. It definitely came in when the darkest purple started going on. I saw that. I saw you. And then maybe we take, just with a little Sigma smudge brush, some of the green. It's so dark, it's just looking dark. It's not looking green. So no one feels left out. We'll put it on the lower lash line. Everybody gets a job. You know, what might be fun to try is doing a look where these two get to sit side by side, because this does have kind of like a greenish blue thing that's trying to come out a little bit, and layering up with that might look neat. But here's the shadow look. Again, I like it. It's just like you buy this thinking, I want to see those colors on my eye, and it's just murky. Murky, murky, murky. And that's definitely a characteristic of, you know, this specific palette. The other palette options I can't speak to. They're all so different. I loved using this yesterday. I needed a new liner pen, like needed. I am burning through my liner pens, and this is the Colorful Winkit felt liner. I got the waterproof version because why not be waterproof? The shade name is Little Black Dress, and it went on beautifully. It didn't change or move or fade that I could see. So I think this is going to be a real good option for me. And it's just a felt tip. You know, I love the M Cosmetics illustrative liner, but this was cheaper. And I'm going to do a little bit of a wing. I was talking a little bit in the other video about doing the girls' makeup for cheer. And by far the hardest part for me is doing their eyeliner. And it's supposed to be winged. And eyeliner is just hard in general. Like, it's one of the harder steps of makeup, I think. But getting them to sit so still to where I don't like swoop off in another direction, and getting it to just like look really good and really close to the lash line. It's 10 times easier for me to do that on myself than on someone else. I mean, wing liner on the daily can be a frustrating thing on your own eye, but trying to do a good wing on a 6-year-old is... What I ended up doing by the last few competitions, there were only 4 competitions, but a couple other reasons where I had to do their makeup, like pictures and the showcase at the end. And I ended up just not even attempting to go all the way across their lash line. I would like kind of start midway and it would look better. It really didn't need to go all the way across, considering the darkness of the eyeshadow and everything. Like, this stuff was dark enough. Okay, so I got a little wing. That stuff worked so well. Just to keep it all looking nice and finished, I might take my darkest eyeshadow and just do a little like blending to my lower lash line there. Was I in focus at all? I just went under the wing like that and blended it down to my lower lash line. I don't always do this, but if I've got something going on already on the lower lash line, it makes sense to have that continuity there. Then, my loves, I got 2 things for mascara, and I feel like I'm not really that impressed by either of them. I got the Lashcraft Lash Primer from Sephora Collection, and then I got the Size Up Volume Extra Large Mascara. I used the primer yesterday, and I don't know. I felt like I had a lot of lashes. The separation, the volume, the amount of lashes was good, but yet I wasn't blown away by any great length, and also not loving the curl holding either that I experienced. This is what it looks like. Real standard little brush there with the white creamy primer. Today I want to try it with mascara only, just to see whose fault it was. Maybe I'll like the mascara if I don't have the primer step underneath. Certain primers will just drop curl. That might have been one of them. Little Black Primer, however, from Estee Lauder. That one reigns supreme no matter what. That one seems to just do it all right. It locks in curl. And then you can seal off your look with it too, because it's black and it keeps things from flaking around, and it truly works in that respect. Like, if you're doing a special occasion look and you're like, gosh, I really don't want to end up with any little flecks of mascara down on my cheek, seal it off with Little Black Primer. Okay, here's what this one looks like. It's rocking the hourglass shape, but yet they've re-tapered the tip. Instead of just being bulbous out to that point, they let the tip come in, which makes sense. So I'm just gonna see how she does solo. Really doing well with not clumping all my lashes together, and you know, for being a new tube of mascara, I have to consider that. Like, it's new. I might not love it the most right now. I might love it more in a couple weeks, but it's still already doing a good job of not making all my lashes like hang together in little chunks, little teams. So far so good, honestly. I think it might be lengthening out a little more without the primer, which is surprising, but I'll take it. So after this, guys, I just got some lip products. I have a couple of lip liners. My favorite Sephora lip product continues to be these balms. The sheer matte lip balms are so good. The shades Fuchsia and Pink, I noticed they were sold out. They still have some other colors. I got a lip gloss that's new. The eye really, as I'm looking up close and I'm putting this mascara on, it looks really cool. Like at a distance, you're kind of like, oh, just a murky little eye look, but you get up close and it's like that shade on the lid is really pretty. And the dusty rose mauve kind of emerging from things is nice. I can see that more with today's look than I could the other day. Going back over here, it's accepting more. They're looking even thicker and bigger. I would definitely say this is doing better minus the primer. And sometimes maybe it's just a matter of like my little lashes can only take so much. I don't know. By this point in time in the process yesterday with primer underneath, they were dropping their curl. This seems to be holding the curl. They're showing up. And I'll probably come back and add a little more on that eye, but in the meantime, I'm gonna use some Cali Ray Hell High Water. Yes, lower lashes. And I'm going to do, since I have a Sephora Collection false lash, I'm going to do that. For the sake of time, I may just pop it on off camera. But I had those two styles. Feisty is going to be huge, okay? It's going to be big and dramatic, and I don't think I'm really in the market for that today. I'm going to do the fringe style. Think Demi Wispies, but fluffier and a little bit bigger, a lot bit bigger. So I'm going to do that and I'll be right back. So here's the style fringe on. They are going on so much more easily than when they were brand new. I mentioned in another video how the band is super duper flexible. I had to trim a lot off also left to right. They were just long for me. But after wearing them a few times, the band is just naturally forming a lot better to my own eye, which makes it so much faster to get them on and not have to fuss around with them. So loving that. They're pretty dramatic and they're pretty curled, but I like them. And then for lips, a few different things I've tried from Sephora Collection. They've got these outrageous lip plumpers. I got a couple of those in a holiday duo at one point in time. I also had used a set of their cream stain liquid lipsticks and I thought those were very long wearing. Today what I'm going to do, I've got a couple different lip liners. My newest one is called Bad Apple. I'll just show you. If you want to see, it's kind of like a dusty red. See that? Not a very pure red. It's got a little depth in it, but I can't call it burgundy. I already owned the one called Dress to the 90s. There's that, very classic nude. I think I might put some of that on. My new thing is this gloss right here, just called Glossed, and the shade is Brave. I might do some of this liner, maybe a little bit of the matte lip balm. See, this is a little brownish, but cool. I like these lip liners. They go on really smooth and creamy, and you're gonna actually twist them up from the bottom. But this, I think, fits the vibe of this look. Kinda cool. Okay, I'm working it around, but I'm not going really, really hard with this. I'm smoothing it around. I don't want it to be too dark. Then I'm gonna take some of my Balm, Sheer Matte Lip Balm. Love these. Take the one in pink. On its own, this is gorgeous. I was wearing it on its own in my first haul video. Ooh, that's a pretty look. But then we got gloss to try. Yep, 3-stepping it today. So this is the glossed lip gloss in Brave. Let's see. Ooh, juicy. Little applicator here. Feels good. Feels like it's clinging on, but it's really not too thick. I'll swatch this gloss out for you. See that? Sheer nude. On its own, on my lips, I'm sure it wouldn't show a whole lot. It would just look like a hint of color, but over a base of lip liner and lip balm, it's really looking good. I like that packaging too. Packaging's kind of big. It's got this big old cap here. Why do I like that? I don't know. I feel like I want to add to this brow for some reason. Seeing the finished eye. Just follow your heart. Just do what it says. Okay, that's a little better. We could take just a little bit of Fit Me Matte and Poreless. We could go right over here. Just, you know, staying power. Hi, Bisky. She says, it's been a long video, Mama. How are you? Oh, I hope I didn't get lip gloss on her. I say a smidge more blush because if it makes you happy, go for it. A little extra blush never hurt anybody, I don't think. Boom. Oh, that cool pink is just dynamite. What are the favorites here? What are the rock star products. If you're diving into Sephora Collection, what should you absolutely try? I think the blushes really come to mind first and foremost as something definitely worth trying. They have a lot of variety. There are still other shades I'd like to try. I mean, they're compact. They can be repackaged into other palettes very easily. I love both of the shades that I have here. I see those as a stunning, great option. Also, these matte lip balms are awesome. Just a standout kind of unique product in my collection. Almost every other tinted lip balm has this shiny glossiness, and there's something so unique and so comfortable and nice about these. And I have fuchsia and pink, but I would try other shades as well there. I think the Best Skin Ever stuff is excellent. I mean, look at the base that ultimately provided on the skin. We achieved where we wanted it, full coverage, I think, because of the addition of the concealer. And then the addition of the baked powder, the micro smooth multitasking baked face powder, so good. Like, added additional coverage, really smooth, really nice texture there. So I think this was a good complexion combo. We did add in a different like under eye setting powder because I couldn't get my hands on the Sephora one, but I just feel like the skin looks so, so good. Sephora Collection eyeshadows, I think, are great. I really think they're good quality. This particular shade selection in the Southern Charm palette, don't go for it if you want to see a lot of purple or a lot of green. It ends up being, I think, a little bit murky, but still interesting because of this guy. And the mattes are beautiful and lovely and all. It's just, it doesn't turn out a real colorful look. It turns out a look about like this, which I gotta admit, I do like it. But these shimmers just appear to sing more in the palette than they do on the lids. Size Up mascara, I would say better without the primer, but still not leaps and bounds better than, say, Lash Paradise. I think it gave a real similar look to Lash Paradise, but not necessarily better than it. Love the liner pen. That did beautifully well, going over a lot of intense shimmer here. It stayed looking super black, easy to control, long wearing. Brow, if you're trying to get a low-cost brow out of Sephora, go with the Sephora Collection one. That was good. And the lip liners are very nice as well. So I feel like we have a ton of hits coming out of this video. I'm really glad I took the time to dig into this brand a little bit more. I know there are still more things. This is a massive line, Sephora Collection, so there are still some things I haven't used, but right now I'm feeling a lot more educated than I was before. So thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. Please share your comments about what things you love from Sephora Collection, or The Ordinary, by the way, and I will see you again very soon. I love you. Bye.